The 3 years of secret call. It is well known that Makkah was the religious center for the Arabs and housed the custodians of the Kaaba. Protection and guardianship of the idols and carved stone images that were honored by all the Arabs lay in the hands of the Makkans. Accordingly, we can gauge the difficulty of achieving the target of reform and goodness in a place considered the center of idolatry. Working in such an atmosphere no doubt requires unshakable will and determination. That is why the initial call to Islam assumed a limited form, so that the Makkans would not be enraged by the unexpected support. The Prophet naturally initiated his sacred mission right from home and then moved to the people closely associated with him. He called unto Islam whomsoever he thought would attest to the truth which had come from his Lord. In fact, a host of people who did not nurse even the least seed of doubt as regards the Prophet immediately responded and readily embraced the true faith. They are known in Islamic history as the early converts. Khadija, the Prophet's spouse, the mother of believers, was the first to enter the fold of Islam, followed by his freed slave Zayd bin Haritha bin Sharahil al-Kalbi, his cousin Ali bin Abi Talib, who had been living with him since his early childhood, and next came his intimate friend Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. They all professed Islam on the very first day of the call. Abu Bakr, from the first day he embraced Islam, proved to be an energetic and most zealous activist. He was wealthy, obliging, mild and upright. People used to frequent his house and draw close to him for his knowledge, friendship, pleasant company and business. He invited to Islam whomever he had confidence in. Through his personal efforts, a good number of people converted to Islam, such as Usman bin Affan al-Umawi, Az-Zubair bin Awam al-Asadis, Abdur Rahman bin Aus, Saad bin Abi Waqqas az-Zuhri, and Talha bin Ubaidullah at-Taimi. These 8 men constituted the forerunners and more specifically the front line of the new faith in Arabia. Among the early Muslims were Bilal bin Rabah the Abyssinian, Abu Ubaidah Amir bin al-Jarrah from Bani Haris bin Fiyad, the most trustworthy of the Muslim nation, Abu Salama bin Abdul Asad al-Arkam bin Abul Arkam from the tribe of Makhzum, Uthman bin Mazun and his 2 brothers Qudama and Abdullah, Ubaidah bin al-Haris bin al-Muttalib bin Abd Manaf, Said bin Zaid al-Adawi and his wife Fatima, daughter of al-Khattab, the sister of Umar bin al-Khattab, Khabab bin al-Arat, Abdullah bin Masud al-Fiud Ali, and many others. These were known as the first of Muslim predecessors. They belonged to various clans of the Quraysh. The biographer Ibn Hisham counted them to be more than 40, and considering some of them to be among the foremost converts may not be correct. Ibn Ishaq said, "Then people entered the fold of Islam in hosts, men and women, and the new faith could no longer be kept secret. The Prophet used to meet and teach the new converts the religion in privacy, because the call to Islam was still running on an individual and secret basis. Revelation accelerated and continued after the first verses of O you wrapped in garments." The verses and parts of Surah's chapters revealed at this time were short with wonderful strong pauses and fascinating rhythms in full harmony. The central topic running through them focused on purifying the soul and preventing the Muslims from falling prey to the deceptive glamour of life. The early verses used to give as well a highly accurate account of hell and the garden paradise, leading the believers down a new course diametrically opposed to the ill practices widespread amongst their compatriots. The order for Salat was not among the early revelations. Ibn Hajar said, "Definitely, the Prophet used to pray before the night journey, but it still remains a matter of controversy whether or not the prayer was established as an obligatory ritual before imposing the rules of the usual 5 prayers a day. It is related that obligatory prayer was established twice a day, in the morning, before sunrise, and after sunset. It is reported through a chain of narrators that when the Prophet received the first revelation, the angel Jibreel proceeded to teach him how to perform wudu ablution. When the Prophet finished, he took a handful of water and sprinkled it on his loins." A narration with similar meaning was recorded by Ibn Majah. Similar was reported from Al-Bara bin Azib and Ibn Abbas. but in his narration Ibn Abbas said, and that was during the beginning of its obligation. Ibn Hisham mentioned that when there was a time for prayers, the Prophet and his companions would go into a mountain valley to pray secretly. Abu Talib once saw Allah's Messenger and Ali praying. He asked them what they were doing. When he was informed that it was obligatory prayer, he told them to stay constant in their practice. During this stage of the call, even though conducted in a private manner and on an individual basis, news leaked to the Quraysh, but they paid little attention to it since the Prophet was not assaulting their religion nor speaking about their gods. After 3 years of undercover activism, a group of believers emerged stamped by a spirit of brotherhood and cooperation with one definite objective in their mind: propagating and deeply establishing the call unto Islam. For full 3 years, Muhammad had been content to teach within a rather narrow circle. The time, however, had come to preach the faith of the Lord openly. Then revelation descended, giving Allah's Messenger the duty of publicizing it for his people, to confront them, invalidate their falsehood, and crush down their idolatrous practices, and warn your tribe of near kindred. This was the first verse to be revealed in this context. It is included in Surah Ash-Shu'ara, chapter 26. The poets, which relates the story of Moses from his early days of prophethood, going through his migration with the children of Israel, their escape from Pharaoh and his folk, and the drowning Pharaoh and his armies. This chapter, in fact, narrates the different stages that Moses passed through in his struggle with Pharaoh and the mission of calling his people unto Allah. Moreover, it includes stories that speak about the terrible end in store for those who belied the messenger, such as the people of Noah, Ad, Thamud, Ibrahim, Lut, and Ahlul Aika, companions of the wood, a group of people who used to worship a tree called Aika. These stories are mentioned along with that of Pharaoh and his people in order to teach those who spread falsehood the outcome of those who did the same before them and their end. It also lets them know the awaiting punishment from Allah if they continue spreading falsehood, and lets the believers know that the good end is for them, not the supporters of evil. In obedience to Allah's commands, Muhammad called his kinsmen of Bani Hashim with a group of Bani al-Muttalib bin Abd Manaf. The audience numbered 45 men. Abu Lahab immediately took the initiative and addressed the Prophet. These are your uncles and cousins. Speak to the point. But first of all, you have to know that your kinspeople are not in a position to withstand all the Arabs. You must bear in mind that your relatives are sufficient for you. If you follow their tradition, it will be easier for them than to face the other clans of Quraysh, supported by other Arabs. Verily, I have never heard of anyone who has incurred more harm on his kinspeople than you. Allah's Messenger kept silent and said nothing in that meeting. He invited them to another meeting and managed to secure an audience. He and then stood up and delivered a short speech explaining the matter clearly. He said, I celebrate Allah's praise. I seek His help. I believe in Him. I put my trust in Him. I bear witness that there is no deity worthy of being worshipped but Allah with no associate. A guide can never lie to his people. I swear by Allah that there is no God but He, that I have been sent as a messenger to you in particular, and to all the people in general. I swear by Allah that you will die just as you sleep, you will be resurrected just as you wake up, you will be called to account for your deeds. It is then either hell forever or the garden paradise forever. Abu Talib replied, We love to help you, accept your advice and believe in your words. These are your kinspeople whom you have gathered, and I am one of them, but I am the fastest to do what you like. Do what you have been ordered. I shall protect and defend you, but I cannot quit the religion of Abdul Muttalib. Abu Lahab then said to Abu Talib, I swear by Allah that this is a bad thing. You must stop him before the others do. Abu Talib, however, answered, I swear by Allah to protect him as long as I am alive. After the Prophet became sure of Abu Talib's commitment to his protection while he called the people unto Allah, he stood up on Mount Safa one day and called out loudly, Ya Sabah. Groups of the Quraysh came to him. He called them to Tawheed, Islamic monotheism, faith in Allah, His messengership, and the day of resurrection. Al-Bukhari reported part of the story on the authority of Ibn Abbas. He said, "When the following verses were revealed, and warn your tribe of near kindred, Allah's messenger ascended Mount As-Safa and started to call, O Bani Fir, O Bani Adi, two clans of Quraysh." Many people gathered, and those who could not sent somebody instead to report to them. Abu Lahab was also present. The Prophet said, "If I were to tell you that there were some horsemen in the valley planning to raid you, would you believe?" They said, "Yes, we have only witnessed the truth from you." He said, "I am a warner to you before a severe torment." Abu Lahab promptly replied, "Perish you all the day. Have you summoned us for such a thing?" The verses were immediately revealed on that occasion. Perish the two hands of Abu Lahab. Muslim reported another part of this story on the authority of Abu Huraira. He said, "When the following verses were revealed, and warn your tribe of near kindred, Allah's messenger called all the people of Quraysh. So they gathered and he gave them a general warning. Then he made a particular reference to certain tribes and said, O Quraysh, rescue yourselves from the fire. O people of Bani Ka'b, rescue yourselves from the fire. O Fatima, daughter of Muhammad, rescue yourself from the fire. For I have no power to protect you from Allah in anything except that I would sustain relationship with you." It was indeed a loud, open call stating unequivocally to the closest people that belief in his message constituted the basic element of any future relation between him and them, and that the blood relation on which the entire Arabian life was based had lost its relevance in the light of that divine ultimatum.